Welcome to my channel where we discuss everything and all things politics, especially about the 2023 presidential election. I saw an interesting bullet in leadership newspaper of December 27, and it caught my attention. It was a bullet story on the cover of the paper titled "Jonathan Supporters Mobilize for Asiwaju." I was surprised because I thought that such a group ought to be mobilizing for the presidential candidate of Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, like most other people in South and Southeast. Now, this group is known as Citizens Network for Peace and Development in Nigeria. Of course, way back in November, they endorsed Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, presidential candidate of APC. But what I find is very strange is that this group claim to be supporters of Jonathan, former President Goodluck Jonathan. Of course, this group, ahead of the APC primaries, was among the groups that were campaigning for Jonathan to return back to power. They were among the several other groups, known and unknown, who think that 2023 Jonathan should come back to power and do his second term. But what I find is very strange is that these people are ignorant of our recent history of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Goodluck Jonathan. And I made this video and I want people to spread it around so that it will get to Goodluck Jonathan, so that he should call them to order, so that they stop using his name to campaign. They should campaign for whoever they want to campaign on their own terms, but they should not bring in Goodluck Jonathan into the picture, because it will be strange if Goodluck Jonathan will endorse such a movement. This is because the kind of selfish politics that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been pursuing, he doesn't deserve that kind of endorsement from South or Southeast, or any reasonable person from the South for that matter. You know, this group, Citizens Network for Peace and Development in Nigeria, was among those who wanted Jonathan to come back. But you can see that when that campaign was going on, and you know Tinubu wanted to contest for president, Tinubu used his TVC network, television network, and The Nation newspaper to take Jonathan to cleaners. They insult the hell out of Jonathan. Maybe Jonathan was not reading what was coming out of the papers that time, that he was being rumored to be interested in going for second term or returning back to power in 2023. They insult the hell out of Jonathan. You know, Tinubu has a lot of columnists who work for his paper and all that. They were unleashed on Jonathan. And I can tell you for free, it was as a result of the kind of insult they were hurling at Jonathan that Jonathan made a retreat. Don't forget, there were protests that time. People know, supporters who went to his house, even in Abuja, to tell him that he must come out to contest. The thing got to a crescendo when the Meetiala spent 100 million naira to buy APC form for Jonathan. But the relentless attack from Tinubu's media houses and others forced Jonathan to make a retreat. He couldn't say he will contest or he will not contest. He literally chickened out. And that was vintage Tinubu, to destroy any of his potential opponents. He did it to Vice President Yemi Osibanjo, when on the eve of APC choosing their presidential candidate, you began to see stories that Professor Yemi Osibanjo does not love Muslims. He don't have Muslims working in his chambers. Even as vice president, he didn't employ any of them in his office. But it was all lies. But these were calculated attempts to make sure that he doesn't succeed in emerging APC presidential candidate. Now, this is somebody who a group that call itself Citizens Network for Peace and Development in Nigeria is supporting from the South. And what is their reason? They say because they want power to remain in the South. So if you want power to return to South, you want power to return to South in 2023. And of all the candidates, the one you think can bring development, security, and fight corruption in Nigeria is Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I think they are jokers, but to show how ignorant they are, unless basically they just want to collect Tinubu's money and they are not sincere with him. They forgot that this same power they want to return to the South, and Tinubu is their preferred candidate because power should return to the South after 8 years of the North. They forgot that it was Tinubu that took this power out of South, and out of South in particular. In 2015, Goodluck Jonathan was the president of Nigeria going to that election. He is from the South. If Tinubu and others in the South had supported Goodluck Jonathan, will we be talking about his coming back in 2023 to do second term? He would have done his second term by 2015, and he will be leaving power now by 2023. In fact, he would have left power by 2019, sorry. Because 2015 was when he wanted to go for second term. He was a sitting president. So if he had won in 2015, he would have completed his 8 years by 2019. But Tinubu, in his selfish political agenda, worked against the interests of the South and make sure that that power doesn't stay in the South. Now he's now the face of somebody you want to present as the face of the person who will return the power back to the South. Power, he was instrumental. He played a key role. He was not the only one, but he played a key role in making sure that the power doesn't stay in the South. So why should a group that claimed to be working for Jonathan, a group claimed to support Jonathan that Tinubu helped to disgrace out of office in 2015, to return back to support Tinubu? Why should such a group? Why should anybody from the South say that he is supporting Tinubu because power should come to the South, when it was Tinubu that took away power? He was instrumental in taking away power from the South. He was the one that stopped Goodluck Jonathan from getting second term. So why should somebody from South or Southeast reward treachery? Somebody that didn't support, that took away the power. Because if Tinubu had supported Jonathan with the rest of the Southwest in 2015, there is no way Buhari would have been president of Nigeria in 2015. No matter what anybody tells you. Because Buhari has contested in 2003. He could, even with all the claims that the North has large, overwhelming population of voters. The Northerners, Northern Muslims in particular, they couldn't make him president. In 2007, they couldn't make him president. In 2011, they couldn't make him president. So they would have retired Buhari in 2015, if not for people like Tinubu, who allowed power to leave south. Because power would have returned to the north by 2019. That would have been the appropriate time for power to return to the north, when Jonathan must have finished his 8 years. And anybody from the south should ask himself a question. Obasanjo is from a majority tribe. He was able to do 8 years. Buhari is from a minority. Fulanis are actually minorities in Nigeria, in northern Nigeria. But with the coinage of Hausa Fulani, they become majority. He was able to get 8 years. Why didn't Jonathan, a minority from the south, get it? Because people like Tinubu conspired and brought two majorities, Southwesterners and at the north, to kick Jonathan out of power and denied him and the South the opportunity to do second term, like Southwest has done, like Northwest is now doing under Buhari. And somebody who said that he went to school, he's reasonable, he reads papers, he understands our recent history, and who claimed to support Jonathan will only think that the only person that deserved to be supported so that power returned to the South. It doesn't make it's Tinubu. It doesn't show wisdom. And it doesn't show honesty. Because, to be frank, Tinubu does not deserve to be a beneficiary of the power returning to the South, because he was the one that sabotaged Southern continuity in power in 2015. He was among those. He was not alone. There are many from the South like that. So such people should not be rewarded now that power is supposedly coming to the South. So this group, Citizens Network for Peace and Development in Nigeria, if they are reasonable people, if they know what Tinubu did to Jonathan, the insolence, what they used Tinubu's newspaper houses and radio stations and television, the insolence they haul on Jonathan, how they disgraced Jonathan out of power, how Jonathan left Aso Rock with his tail between his legs. It will be an insult for them to use Jonathan's name to be mobilizing for Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Indeed, any reasonable person from South and Southeast that supports Tinubu, the person need counseling. You need re-education. Because if it is how Southern Nigeria will play politics, then they don't understand the power game. You can't reward treachery. What Tinubu and co conspired to do against Jonathan and take away power from Nigeria, from Southern Nigeria, when Southern Nigeria had an opportunity to do 8 years, especially Goodluck Jonathan, a minority from South. Now, a South person will go about saying he's campaigning for Tinubu to become president. It is an insult on the leaders of South, those who suffered to liberate the Niger Delta, those who fought, even for this 13% derivation they're still enjoying, for them to go about saying that they are campaigning for Tinubu I had one that he said that when he was in prison, Tinubu took care of his wife. So that's enough reason why South people will forget what Tinubu did to Jonathan. Does they know the significance of that? Do they know what Tinubu made South to lose 4 years? If you look at Jonathan's administration, within the first 4 years, he didn't do much for Niger Delta. Obviously, his mind was when he came back on second term, he would then concentrate in the region. He was doing a lot of things for northern Nigeria, the Almajiri school, the universities, what have you. He was just trying to please the North, hoping to take care of his area effectively when he comes for second term. And Jonathan and Tinubu stopped that from happening. And that is the same person people are campaigning for, and people who claim to be supporters of Jonathan. I think Jonathan should call them to order. They should stop using his name. They should stop saying that since Jonathan couldn't get it, let them support Asiwaju Bola Tinubu so that power will return to South. They should ask themselves, who took away power from the South? Who took away power from the South? And he's proud of it. You can see how Tinubu everywhere, even when Milako, he was talking about the fact he was the one that made Buhari president. So he was the one that chased away a Southern president and brought in a Northern president. And now he wants power to return to the South. So the reasonable thing for them to do, and for any reasonable person from South, and Southeast, is to mobilize votes for Peter Obi. So that Peter Obi, who is even a better candidate than Asiwaju Bola Tinubu in all ramifications. Is it in terms of anti-corruption, which is a major problem in Nigeria? Can Tinubu fight corruption in Nigeria? If Tinubu tell you now that he will fight corruption when he becomes president, wouldn't you have your head to be examined if you believe him that he will fight corruption? In terms of capacity, does Tinubu look to you as having more capacity than Peter Obi of Labour Party? In terms of competence, does Tinubu look to you, even from his outing in Chatham House, that he can be able to stand Peter Obi in a debate or in running the country? In terms of health, because we have had a challenge of a president who was bogged down by ill health. Can you trust that Tinubu is healthier than Peter Obi to become the president of Nigeria? How long shall Nigeria continue to have the presidential villa as a rehabilitation home? So why should any reasonable person be campaigning and the person claim to be a supporter of Goodluck Jonathan, and he want to campaign for Asiwaju Bola Tinubu? Asiwaju Bola Tinubu betrayed Southern Nigeria in 2015. Power returning to the South is necessary. It is important. But Tinubu, who was instrumental in taking that power from a minority South person and ensuring that he doesn't get second term, that's Goodluck Jonathan, does not deserve to be rewarded by the South and Southeast. Even Tinubu knows it. He knew it in his heart. All those while that they say that former secretary to the federal government, Baba Shilawal, who campaigned for Tinubu to be emerged the candidate of APC. He said that Tinubu said that they shouldn't bother to go to Southeast because he know that he can't come there and ask for vote ordinarily. Even though now there are people in Southeast shouting Asiwaju, Asiwaju. I think they want to collect his money if he will even give money. Because I doubt, because he know that there's no way. Peter Obi has locked down that place. And Peter Obi has locked down South. But still, I know that they are making effort. Tinubu is making effort to go and see what he can be able to get from South and Southeast. You can see how he performed abysmally in the latest poll released by ANAP and NOI. He performed abysmally in South and Southeast. So perhaps they have mobilized to release money. Like Peter Obi said, when they bring the money, collect it. It is your money. But on election day, vote for your conscience. Vote for Peter Obi. Any money that Tinubu brings to Southeast, North, Central, everywhere, people should collect it and vote for their conscience. Because it's only in Nigeria that an employee, somebody seeking for a job, will bribe his employer to be able to be employed. It's one of the oddities of Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you for watching this video. And if you are new to my channel and you have not yet subscribed to my channel, subscribe to my channel, hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you will be among the first to know. God bless you. And please don't forget to like this video, because when you like it, as more people like it, Google will rank it higher. Recommend it for more people. And with more people watching it, there will be more people who will be convinced that of all the presidential candidates, Peter Obi is the best for Nigeria in 2023. God bless you and yours.